Hello, and welcome to CHUB Cast, where we review 2 albums an episode spanning across a multitude of genres, with your hosts.
My name is Zach Smith, and I'm the bassist.
And I'm Ben, and I'm the vocalist.
The one who plays the guitar is me, Greg.
I'm Kyle, and I hit stuff with sticks.
All the way from Brighton, UK, combined, we make up the band CHUB. I hope you enjoy the podcast.
Hello, welcome to episode 11 of the podcast. This week, we're doing albums we consider to be 10 out of 10. Well, individually, not all of us. That would be a bit weird and hive mindy.
We all agree on everything.
We are all the Borg. So this week we're doing Greg's favourites, one of Greg's favourites, and one of Ben's favourites. So Greg picked Scurrilous by Protest the Hero, also a personal favourite of mine.
Bias.
Yeah, it's too late. And Ben wanted to be a different boy, so instead of picking something heavy like the rest of us are probably going to do, he picked Channel Orange by Frankie Ocean, a lovely little R&B singer. We're going to announce next week's albums at the end of the show, and if you want to get involved, you should leave a comment and tell us what you thought of them at the end of this episode. So if you're watching on YouTube, slam a comment on our Chub the Band channel on the newest video that you're probably listening to on this now. If you're on Spotify or Apple Music, email us at chubtheband@gmail.com. Or you can tweet us using the hashtag ChubView. We'll totally remember to look at it, promise.
Yes. Because actually, Greg, I think you're the only one that uses Twitter like religiously now.
We check it daily. Yes, I'll check it right now.
Also, follow us on social media. Links are in the description. It helps us out a lot. Help us expose our chub to the world.
Yeah.
Me and Ben are in a new flat, so if the internet's a bit potato, that's why. There's nothing in here yet, otherwise we'd have a cool little house tour thing. Starting with Channel Orange.
Channel
So
Orange.
Ben, give us the
Whoa! Hello, everyone. Channel Orange is an album by Frank Ocean, who's an American singer-songwriter, primarily focused on sort of R&B, more sort of like pop, soul, jazz funk, kind of like all those kind of like inspirations. He was part of the hip-hop collective Odd Future in 2010, and up until whenever they stopped becoming relevant, unfortunately. And this album was considered one of the best in 2013 Grammy Awards. It won Best Urban Contemporary Album. So, and it was even nominated for Album of the Year as well at the Grammys. So big acclaim. So many good songs on this album. I mean, it's one of my favorites. I'll let the guys say what they wanted to say, and then I'll say mine at the end. So, Zach, you go first.
Greg, do you want to take the lead?
Yeah, sure, if you want. I was really quite impressed by this album. I always thought the B in R&B stood for boring. But
It does, doesn't it? I
thought it
boring.
Yeah, I thought that's what it was.
And boring.
Really and boring.
But no, this album was actually really complex, and even though it was slow and very, very relaxing, one of my notes was I probably would have added on a point or two if I had been stoned while I was listening to it, but I wasn't, unfortunately. But it was very complex, and there was plenty to like mull over in the melodies and the layers of the tracks. So yeah, it was a much more rewarding listen than I was expecting. And I'll leave it there for now. Someone else, Carl.
Okay, yeah. So I'd already listened to this album a couple times because when it came out, I was on a big Odd Future binge. Like, I was really into Tyler Creator and Earl Sweatshirt specifically. And yeah, this album came out shortly after Odd Future released their Odd Future mixtape 2, which was like their last big collaborative effort They kind of stopped being relevant because they just kind of, I don't think they even like each other very much anymore, to be honest. They did a couple shows together like a few years ago, but
There's loads of stuff like between Tyler and Earl that's still a bit weird, and
yeah,
Earl's it's a whole thing. That's for another episode, I guess.
yeah. I'm sure we'll
Yeah, I'd
do
love
some
to
other
deep
episodes
dive
stuff.
into that.
Yeah, it's very interesting. But yeah, I don't really like R&B music, but I feel like this album's got enough going on that I find it quite interesting. I already had a few songs off of this favorited, which are Lost, Sierra Leone, and Pyramids, which are all great songs. And specifically, Lost is one of those songs that I'm just randomly, I won't have heard it for like a year, and then I would just be in my room like, Lost in the heat of your love. It's just a jammer. So
It's one of those, yeah.
I already like this, but yeah, revisiting it, I've got quite a few things to say about it. It's a really interesting album now that I've actually analysed it properly. But yeah, what did you think, Zach? Because everybody already knows what Zach thinks of this
Well,
Don't hold back.
I'll say comedy is subjective. I don't know. I thought this was fucking boring. Me and Claire listened to it, and we both just listened to, the first half of the album. And it just wasn't doing anything for me. Claire said it's kind of like something a mother or a father or something would put on Heart FM on their way home from work or something, which is probably not far from the truth with R&B. I don't know what people listen to on the radio at the moment, but I don't know. It's not really my thing. Although it did put me into like the state. Kind of, I've got in my notes that it kind of took me to this bleak futuristic setting where you're like in an alleyway and it's like the future, but it's all disgusting still. And they're like selling drugs or something, and then they get caught by the future cops and they like bail. I don't know, one of the songs, I can't remember, I think it's the second song actually, gave like that vibe to me. I don't know why, that's what came to my head. So I wrote it down in my notes.
A bit of an odd future, you might say.
Is that what the song's called?
Oh,
no, that's the name of
that's
group.
that's part of the rap collective he was part of.
Damn, that would have made infinite sense. The best part of the album, well, actually, but when I wrote this album, I said so far halfway through the album, the best part of the entire thing was the PlayStation sound effects at the beginning. I really enjoyed that. But I liked Pyramids, actually. That was like the first song that really stood out to me, and it was the first song that got my head bopping. And I went to add it to my bangers and realised it was 10 minutes long, and the second half of Pyramids is kind of shit. So I was like, oh, fuck. So I kind of wish they split that song in half so I could have the first half of Pyramids. Kind of like Closure in Moscow's song. I can't remember which one it was. But it was
Pink Lemonade.
Was it
or Brahmatron?
Brahmatron, that's it, yeah. But yeah, I don't know. And also, like, I feel that I'm not very good. I don't feel like I have the right to necessarily rate this album because I don't really know what makes good R&B anyway. Because if this is a 10 out of 10 R&B album, Ben, then what the fuck, man? This is not for me.
Yeah, it definitely, like, without a doubt is considered. I mean, it was nominated in 2013 by the Grammys as the album of the year. If that doesn't speak enough for like how good of an R&B album specifically it was, then I'm not quite sure what is. For me personally,
everyone's got a Grammy though.
Yeah, man, I really respect the Grammys' opinion.
like,
Jethro Tull, such
Yeah.
a sick metal musician.
The rest. I mean, this album's just fucking amazing. Like Frank's Ocean is just really, really incredibly like moving and soulful. It's so easily complemented by like the sort of lo-fi kind of rhythm and beats that like sort of accompany most of the songs. There isn't anything too like instrumentally heavy, and that really, really like what's the word? It really complements his vocal delivery. You know, whether he's singing really lightly or whether he's kind of half rapping. You know, kind of on songs like Super Rich Kids, where he sort of half raps and half sings in that. Um, and yeah, it's just one of these albums where like I can get lost in it. For me, it's still personally a 10 out of 10, even with a couple of faults. And the only thing that I the things that broke it up a little bit for me was that I just don't like interludes in general. No matter what musician, no matter what genre, anything.
Yeah,
I fucking hate
interludes are a
them.
bit
Fucking
shit.
skits, man. They
I
need to
skipped a
stop.
couple of
stop.
the interludes, I'm not gonna lie.
There's
Hopefully I
like
didn't miss another PlayStation sound effect, because I would have been upset.
I don't know,
about
for
it.
me,
Maybe the
like-
GameCube intro, that would have been cool.
Yeah, but you listen to it once and you just don't favourite it, and you never listen to it again. Like, I don't really have a
But then
problem with it.
But it's still like, why put it on the album?
the
Or
thing is,
you
if-
accidentally favourite the whole album and it comes on shuffle and you're like, fuck.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And then you have to skip an interlude that just randomly came on your shuffle. Yeah,
Yeah.
like it's that's those kind of things. But that's not necessarily like that's not a reflection of how good the album is, because the actual songs and the actual music for me is fucking gold. And it's just kind of like it's those little interludes and stuff are just like ugh. But you get them in I get them in loads of my favorite bands and stuff, and I'm just like, just skip it. But apart from that, yeah.
Why is it gold, Ben?
It's gold because I love every single song.
I mean, yeah, that's
it's
a
gold
good
because
thing for a 10 out of 10 album. That helps.
like it from like obviously from the most famous song off the album, "Thinking About You," that's probably the single that kicked off Frank's career.
Is it really?
Apart from maybe Novocaine from before.
Thinking About You is a bit of a filler song.
Yeah, that's my least favourite song on the album as well.
That was the song that got me into Frank Ocean, actually, because it was played. I remember it was being played because obviously,
On Heart
when
FM.
you're at college in the common room, like obviously, like anyone's gonna put whatever they want on the like speakers. And that came on, and I was just sitting down. I was like, amazing, and that was the song that introduced me to the album.
It's his most,
like it goes from like
most listened song. It's got 457 million listens on Spotify.
Ooh,
it's his most popular song, I'd say.
I
Jeez,
thought there were
just
much
a
better songs
shadow
than that
of
on the
Chub,
album. You know it, dude. If we did a fucking R&B album, it'd shit all over Frank Ocean.
yeah. And we'd call
Yeah,
it really
I can sing
boring.
as good as Frank Ocean. Oh, really boring.
Yeah, really and boring.
Yeah.
From like things again, Lost, Pyramids, Super Rich Kids, Sweet Life. It's all good. It's all so good. What were your favorite tracks, guys?
First half
I
of
just want
Pyramid.
to.
Nice.
So you can do yours, Carl. And then I was going to say something else.
Oh, I was just gonna say, yeah, I mean, initially what I already had favorited prior to this listen was Sierra Leone, Pyramids, and Lost. But listening to it again, like Pink Matter's fucking great. Bad Religion's a nice short one.
I like that.
Crack Rock's really good as well, and quite like groovy at times. The thing is that the main thing I took away from this album is like now that I've done like a deep dive and I've really looked into like the meaning of all of the songs on it and stuff, and kind of more like what he's actually talking about specifically. There's so many like really important topics in here, and they're all like quite relatable. So it's like one of the main themes on the album is this was before Frank Ocean came out as I think he's bi. I don't think he's gay. I think he's bi, right?
He's bi, but I think currently he might actually be in a male-male relationship. I'm not sure.
Yeah. I think so. Basically, like this was before publicly he came out as bi, and there's a lot of like hinting on this album. Like Forrest Gump is apparently about a relationship he had with the first guy he fancied, basically.
Oh,
And
fuck, I just thought it was about Forrest Gump.
Yeah, so did I. But
First guy
apparently, like,
fancied was Tom Hanks. Wait.
I mean, who wouldn't?
Well,
But it's meant
That's
to be
who
like kind of
played-
an allegory. of
Yeah.
how Janae looks at him, stuff.
He was running through his mind.
Yeah.
Like Forrest Gump runs in the film.
Yeah, it's a funny little song about Forrest Gump. I didn't realize
Yeah,
that
so
was
did
a
I.
serious
One of the notes I have is that like all the other songs are really well written, but that one just kind of sounds like he's just talking about Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
Maybe
I
it
guess
was.
like
Maybe
if he
you
made
read a
it too
fan
on,
theory.
It was a subliminal message.
Maybe there's fan fiction
I think if
Yeah.
he made it
of,
too on the
of
nose,
him
though,
and
people
Forrest
would have
Gump.
realised that he was bi, you know.
I mean,
I think it was his way of hitting on Tom Hanks secretly, subliminally.
I mean, Rob Halford wrote fucking Grinder and Hellbent for Leather, and no one clocked on for him. So people are idiots.
Yeah. My mum's always telling me like, "Oh, nobody realised Elton John. Like, we just thought he was weird."
And we're like, really?
Yeah, seriously. Like Freddie Mercury as well. They were like, "Oh yeah, we thought he was just a ladies' man."
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's
Great.
it's so good.
Yeah.
Not for them, but
2020
so-
hindsight.
Yeah. Wait.
One of the other things that I found out was
I was going to say that
a lot
phrase
of the
is
songs
tainted
are
now.
about.
Sorry.
Is it?
Because of 2020
Oh
being
God,
so
right?
shit.
Yeah. Oh, I see.
Oh, yeah.
Shit.
Fuck
Sorry,
yeah.
Carl.
I felt
One
I
of the
needed
other
to say
things I was
that
going
real
to
quick.
say, apparently his granddad was like a absentee father for his mum and like his aunties and stuff, because he was like a crackhead and he hung out with a bunch of crackheads. But then he kind of made up for it by being a proper grandfather to Frank. And one of the things that he did was he was like a speaker, and like he ran Alcoholics Anonymous and Drugs Anonymous gangs and stuff, like groups. And gangs, you know. And Frank Ocean would go along to those as a kid, and now he's like really, really terrified of addiction and stuff. That's why he's written songs like the song Crack Rock and the
Crack
song
Rock,
Pilot Jones and the song Monks. They're kind of all about his granddad's stories he's told him, basically. Like, you know, Crack Rock, he's seen for himself how shit being addicted to crack is, and about how like basically these people just completely ruining their lives for nothing. And Pilot Jones is about his relationship with a dealer who would literally just do nothing and sit around the house smoking all day, but he was in love with her, so he's just like, oh, whatever, I guess I'll let you get away with it, sort of thing. And about like weird, and also she gave him weed, so it's like this weird codependency shit going on. But yeah,
So
I thought
nothing
it was
too
really
heavy.
interesting. Yeah.
A lot of it is, yeah. That's the thing. A lot of it is a lot of, like, very lyrically heavy in regards to like a lot of, like, you know, especially drugs. I mean, Lost is like one of those other songs where it's like, you know, the protagonist is like has a protagonist in the song who's a drug supplier and uses his girlfriend as a drug mule, and it's like, he's getting lost in the heat of it all. It's really laden in like really like heavy topics, and I think that's what like
I think
sort of makes
Ramahoy
it
could teach them a few things about being heavy. Like, I mean,
About inhaling loads of
there's
dust.
Frank Ocean with heaviness. Ramahoy, like, they really drive home all these heavy topics.
The seriousness.
Yeah.
I was gonna say actually, it kind of it reminds me of Dave in that regard a little bit, but less depressing and with like good music as well. So
But
it's
yeah.
far
Dave was
superior in my
more
opinion.
literal. Like, this guy is way more like. You know,
Oh yeah, he wouldn't have done Forrest Gump.
metaphorical.
He would have been like
Dave's-
Forrest Gump fucking got stabbed.
Yeah, Dave's song would be called "I Really Fancy Men" or something. Just really straight to the point.
Really.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think
Greg,
also,
what was your
like,
favorite?
if you listen to this album
Sorry.
without really looking into the lyrics like I did, you'd never know it was about like really serious shit. It's just like, oh, this is just a nice little boppy, upbeat song.
Yeah, you get
No,
glimpses of it. Like I didn't really look deeply into the lyrics, but you see occasional bits where you're like, oh, he's referencing something I'm not really sure about there.
Yeah.
But yeah, for the most part, you can listen to it on either level, whichever level you choose to. Really,
I think that's what makes it like probably one of the best considered, because as a like standard sort of pop R&B album, it hits everything like lyrically and like the lyrical delivery and the backing track and everything hit everything in that regard. But when you actually look at the whole words and the lyricisms and stuff, it's actually a lot deeper than people give it credit for, which is probably why it's considered one of the best. So yeah, it's amazing.
All right.
Go on.
Rego,
Rego, I don't think you've really went in on this one.
No, I haven't done my favorites yet. There was one thing I was gonna say, just to back Zach up slightly. When you compared it to like sort of lounge, elevator, background radio music, I do agree to a certain extent that like if you're in the wrong mood, it could totally come across that way. And this album, if it at a different point in my life, or if I just wasn't in the right mood, or if it hadn't been recommended to me and I just came across it, it could have totally passed me by and I just would have ignored it. Like, I feel like I only liked it so much because I was sitting down listening to it, like really focusing on it and like trying to appreciate all the bits. But I can definitely see how a different person would see it differently.
Yeah, for me personally, I just don't see the appeal in any of the backing tracks. They're all just so base. I don't want to use the word basic, but they just sound like stock music to me, anyway. You know.
So for a lot of R&B, like the backing track is more of a like it's the rice to the main dish of the vocals that is the curry, if that makes sense. Like yeah, obviously, you know, the curry is the thing that's the most flavorsome thing. You know, you got to have that rice to give it like that bit of substance.
Do any allegories that don't have to do with
no. Oh my,
every joke.
All my allegories are filled. So like it's not the main thing. The vocal delivery and like how he sings, like in R&B in general, is kind of what most people sort of look at.
Yeah, I understand. It's the same with heavy metal and the death metal. Like you see the growling as an instrument, not so much a vocalist kind of thing. Which is why it took me so long to get into it as well. That.
Yeah, it's the same with like hip hop. Like when I think for most of us, when we first listened to hip hop, it's like with Dirty Dyke's album. It's like if you're not looking into it specifically for the lyricism and the wordplay and the flow and stuff, everything else going on is kind of boring. But I think like with this sort of music, you need to look at it from a lyrical, like look at it differently than you would like metal or whatever, where it's like the instrumentation is like driving everything. You kind of need to more
different genres emphasize different aspects, and that's sort of what makes them, you know, different genres.
Yeah.
Well,
but yeah, sometimes a particular genre just doesn't gel with your pre-existing sort of tastes, and so you're less likely to enjoy it.
Yeah.
I would say if I was going to pick like a main negative for this album, it wouldn't. I think for me it just went on too long. Like if we're going with the food analogy, there was a great balance between the curry and the rice and the meat and everything. It was the right proportions, but there was just too much of it. And
you were
I'm a hungry boy.
It was like your standard.
I was full.
It was like your standard Indian takeout where there's just way too much.
Yeah, exactly. And I did finish it, and I did enjoy it, but I was left a bit.
Spent the rest of the evening just stuffed and like lying on the sofa, just like
And there were a few like plain naan bread kind of tracks, you know, like a few tracks were a bit fillery for me, and I thought we could have done away with them in order to shorten the album. Specifically, I wrote down Monks and White. I was just like, throw them.
So the conclusion is R&B is much like curry.
That's right. Yep.
Cool. Should we do ratings?
Yes.
Oh, Greg, unless you have anything else to say, Greg. Sorry.
No. I think I've said my piece really.
Cool. Where do you want to go?
Yeah.
Out the room.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, I'll do it. I haven't done my favorites either. I really enjoyed Sweet Life. It's probably my favorite. I really like Pyramids, Lost, and I also had a soft spot for Bad Religion. Oh, Ben's gone.
Keep going.
He
well,
plugged
fucking
his laptop in and it's probably done a bit or something.
yeah. Oh, there he is. So yeah, they're my favorites, and overall, I gave this one a 7 out of 10 because it was a bit too long. It did have some filler tracks, and I might have given it an eight if I was stoned.
Yeah. To be fair, like I did
I'm
actually
back.
think when I was listening to it that if I was high, this probably would be better.
Mm.
But you could say that about 80% of music, so I don't think it
That
really
is
counts.
That is true. Yeah, so I'm going to hit it with a 7 overall.
Same with that curry would be much better if you were baked as well, dude.
Oh god, yeah.
Much like 80% of food.
Yeah, go for it, Zach. Give us your rating. We'll break it.
Well, I like I said, I actually have the note here, which I am a bit worried about reading out. I was actually going to call you out, Ben, until you all
yeah.
spoke. I've never heard you speak about this guy. And
I mean,
it's absolutely fine. But I was just sitting there like, is this really a 10 out of 10 for Ben? I'd argue I know you pretty well. And I've never really known you to really like this music 10 out of 10 level. But then again, you know, behind closed doors.
feel like
This
you
is
would have-
the diametric opposite of Left Behind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought
Yeah.
when we were going to
And
do
I
10 out of
consider-
10 albums, I thought you were going to do like Interpol or something.
Interpol is there's like that's somewhere in there. I wanted to do something a little bit different.
Yeah, well, that's fair enough.
And yeah, I guess it just depends on like who you speak to about it, I suppose, because I know that like I wouldn't want to chew your ear off about an R&B album that you're probably not gonna like. So that's probably why I've never mentioned it, because I'm just gonna be like, why would I speak to this about Zach? Because I don't think he'd care.
Yeah, fair enough. You're not wrong. Right. Well, in that case, I don't really feel right rating it. I'm going to give it a 2, though, just because I made it through the whole album, so it's not a 1. But me and Claire were, like, melted on the sofa, just like, 54 minutes. How many songs? 6 more songs.
I'm proud of you for getting through.
Thank you. I did go into this with open minds as well, because I was like, right, if like this is a 10 out of 10 R&B album, then this might be something that I really gel with, but it's just not for me.
Yeah,
I suppose.
At least you know now.
I mean, I knew anyway, but now I definitely know.
Now you definitely know.
Go on, Kyle.
Yeah, like I'm in the same boat as Zach. I don't really like R&B, like especially like commercial R&B. It fucking pisses me off. Like everything on the radio, shit. So when I initially,
We can all agree on that one.
yeah, when I initially went to listen to this, like back in the day, like when it first came out, I didn't expect to like it at all. But there are like a few. I mean, I liked a few on there, and then I feel like my palette is kind of shifted a bit since then, and I really enjoy more chill music. Like I have my Smooth Brain Spotify playlist, and half of this album went straight on the Smooth Brain playlist. But yeah, like I honestly like almost all of the actual tracks, like besides the skits on this album. The only one I don't like is Monks, and it's still not a bad song. Oh, and I didn't really like Forrest Gump very much. But like for the fact that it's an R&B album that I really enjoy, and the more I looked into it, the more I really resonated with the lyricism and the meaning. Especially Pyramids is like such a long song, but like it has such like a really deep meaning about
So
like,
many layers, yeah.
yeah, about like
Like a
how
pyramid.
about how like,
Ah!
fuck.
Of course.
Crack the code.
And yeah, I was just I think like I really enjoy this album, especially like, and given the context of the genre I don't like, I'm gonna have to give it like at least like a 9 out of 10. I think it's not 10 out of 10, but there's a couple songs in it that I'm just like meh about. But yeah, it's really good, and yeah, I might have to listen to Blonde, his second album, because I never have.
Nice. Also, Kyle, I think you'll be happy to know you were just saying about how you're not a big fan of mainstream R&B. Well, there was a cultural, there was a, what do they call it? They're cultural studies, a European cultural studies, who basically looks at like genres and stuff like that. And Frank Ocean and even The Weeknd are considered alternative R&B. So there you go.
I did see that on Wikipedia. Yeah.
So they're not actually mainstream R&B, which is probably why I think probably because mainstream R&B they just sing about stupid shit,
It's
whilst these guys are
literally
like
just
a little bit
songs about
deeper.
fucking and
Yeah,
relationships, which
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
my head in. But like, there's a
Whilst these,
couple songs on like tracks on here. Like, I mean, Pink Matter is about
it's
it's
just about
about
vagina.
vagina, but then at least like it switches it up
Is that what
with
it's about? All I noticed about that song was he kept saying Margin Boo, and I was like,
Margin Boo is pink and
Cotton
squishy.
candy Martian.
Yeah.
yeah, but like, I didn't realize that's what he was talking about. I really
It's
should.
about
knows?
vagina.
I should listen
Talk
more
about
closely to
pussy.
lyrics. Like, I swear to God.
And then it's
They
also
just
talking
go
about
right
how
over my head.
sad vagina can make you. And it had Andre 3000 on, which is pretty sick.
Yeah.
Blue
Oh
used
yeah,
to
that's the
be
thing
my
as well. The
favorite
features on this
color.
album are fucking awesome.
Now I ain't got no chores. Blue matter.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess closing points. The album for me. This is one of my favorites of all time. I've loved it since it came out. Around 2012, I think it was that it came out. So yeah, hugely influential, hugely important. It led up to his like sophomore album that came out afterwards, Blonde, which is considered by a lot of people better. I don't think it's better, but I think it's definitely lended itself uh, as a stepping stone to that place. Um, and yeah, every single song on here is amazing, and every time like it comes, and depends on my mood. If I'm in like a metally, like angry mood, obviously I'm not gonna be like, oh, lost, oh, like listening to it. But like if I'm in that kind of mood, like for sure, it's definitely up there. So, 10 out of 10.
Let's go. So yeah, we also do singles now. We just people who don't do albums get to do singles because then we get something to do. And also, there's a bunch of bands where they have good individual songs but not great albums. So yeah, this is where we cover them. So my choice was Goat by Polyphia, which is an instrumental band, and Zach's choice was Roundabout by Yes, also famous for being a motherfucking JoJo's reference, which one of us didn't quite pick up on. But yeah, yeah. Let's start with Roundabout.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I literally just picked this because Claire and I had just started watching JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and it has just skyrocketed into one of my top 5 favorite animes. Like, it is fucking
it's
amazing.
Yes.
I still haven't seen it. Damn.
And
Oh, you need to.
the reason why I chose this song is one, it's like I want to say that this is how I like my prog, and I describe it as like a Mario Kart track, where it's kind of like it's got a chorus and like a main hook, but it goes off, and then comes back to it like any good chorus does. But it keeps
Like a
an
roundabout.
yeah, and it just keeps coming back to like this one bit, which I've realized a lot of prog doesn't do, and I'm like, that's why I like it, because
I was
it has a
slightly
chorus.
slightly offended that you did pick a prog song straight after trashing my prog album.
Yeah, exactly, man. I'm glad. No, so literally the only reason why I picked it is because it was a JoJo. I didn't even realize it was prog or 8 minutes long. I just love that fucking bass bit, man.
Oh, dude, that best line.
And
That is like all-time bass riffs.
and also, I just want to quickly add before you guys, whoever fucking chose to have this song as the end credit music is a fucking genius, because every time you hear that at the end of every JoJo episode, it just gets you so hyped for the next one. It's literally genius fucking music
It was
picking.
chosen by
Oh.
the author. The author, you'll notice as you carry on into the series, he just references so many classic.
I mean, I noticed the second I saw there was two characters in. I think it was like Dire and Straight, and they didn't even hide it there.
Yeah, yeah. It's like have you met Speedwagon yet?
Well, he's in like the first episode.
He's a reference to REO Speedwagon, which is a band.
Me and Claire have been looking it
That's
up
one of my
as we
mum's
go.
favorite bands.
Yeah,
You got Wham, you got AC/DC, you got.
but yeah, all of the music was specifically chosen by the author because that's the sort of stuff he'd listen to whilst he was making it. 'Cause
Well,
he's a
that guy is
massive
a
rock
genius because it's literally like the perfect end credit music I've ever heard.
fan. That's really. Yeah, I found out about that song from JoJo as well, but I already listened to Yes because I mean I'm a prog nerd, so of course I've listened to fucking Yes. They're like the kings of the genre. Like
Yeah,
The
I've actually-
granddaddies.
I've actually
This
never
song-
listened to any other Yes other than this song.
you should definitely listen to this. Like honestly, this whole album, Fragile, could have been put on here. It's fucking insane.
still can.
Really? I'll have
Yeah.
to.
This song's from 1971, and it doesn't feel like it's from then at all.
No.
It still holds up well today.
Fucking hell.
I'd argue,
Like-
like, Yes are probably one of the bands that birthed punk because they've just got all the keyboard solos and everything. And
Yeah.
the punk
Yeah,
fans
they
are
were one
like,
of-
I can't play this.
Literally, punk started off because this was when like Yes was popular at the time, and punk was like the antithesis of it.
Yeah,
'Cause they
I
were-
know that Electric Lake and Palmer played a big part in the punk movement as well.
Yeah, Emerson, Lake and Palmer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what they're called. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah. Yeah,
There's a
the whole
rock and organ solo towards the end of the song. Sorry, just to pick up on what you said about the keyboard solo. Fucking sick.
Yeah,
Towards the end of the song, it's great.
I think that bass line's probably like top 5 bass lines of all time for me.
Hmm.
It's just
It's so strong.
It's dirty. And the fact that it was written in 1971, like, that people who must have thought they were devils, like demons, playing bass like that.
Mm.
They've,
I mean, that was like the era of funk. Not like they were playing
Yeah.
it back in the 17th century.
no, but you know what I mean. Like fucking Dungeons and Dragons, like got fucking crucified. Like,
Yeah.
like
That's
they,
true.
Black Sabbath started around this time, and they had like, you know, all that. Yeah, it was definitely
Yeah.
around the time of like the rise of Christians blaming metal for like everything bad in the world.
Yeah.
Or
Mm.
prog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I'll jump in. Yeah, the first time hearing this, because everyone knew what this song was, apart from me. So I was like, "What? What is it? Whoa!" And then obviously, just 10 seconds of listening to it, I was just like, "Ah!"
It's from the
It's the
meme.
meme.
Like you got Rick
It was
rolled.
the meme.
Jojo
And it was
rolled.
just 8. It was just, mate. It was just 8 fucking minutes and 36 seconds exactly of pure like, whoa. If this is how prog was all the time, it would be my favorite genre, just because it's so good. Like from everything from like how he's like the guy sings with his fucking like sky high vocals and like to that disgusting bass line. Like it's I echo what Carl said. It's probably one of the best ones ever made, just because it's just so like funky.
Mm.
It's
It's one of those ones where it
Yeah,
could
it
literally
did-
be the soundtrack to your life, like playing everywhere you go, and that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Like, that'd be
Pretty
alright.
much
Yeah.
is at the moment. I've had this song in my head for about 3 weeks.
I just mean just that bass line everywhere you walk. Like,
It definitely does sound like a Mario Kart track as well, just because it's so like so upbeat
You're
and
right.
so funky.
Yeah,
The worst
that's
part
true.
is about this song with me is it's so because it's in my head. I've had like nights where I'm walking to my bed, yeah, just about to go to bed, and it's just like ding, doo doo. It just starts in my head, and as soon as I hit the pillow, it's like dun 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 dun, dun. As if like to be continued. Zach Smith tomorrow morning.
Just start funking out in bed. Yeah, and then your episode ends, but it's just you still lying there with the whole
Yeah.
song playing through your head like, Oh God.
Oh,
Go
But
on,
yeah,
Eric.
I was just gonna pick up on the vocals as well. I thought they were, even though you say it's written in the 70s or whatever. I thought it was very 60s vocals. It reminded me of like the Beatles almost in certain places, and also do you guys ever listen to Joe Cocker?
No.
That one song that everybody
No.
knows. He has one super famous song called "With a Little Help from My Friends," and they have background vocals where they're like super high pitched like this as well, and it reminded me of that.
Oh,
So it's
cool.
very like
Hmm.
I love those kind of vocals.
Yeah. Yeah, so do I.
That's why I like prog so much because they're all high pitched
good.
motherfuckers.
That's why I love glam.
Yeah,
They're all high pitched motherfuckers. Yeah. Anything
Yeah,
else to
so-
add before we go to the goat?
That's about all I got to say.
I'd
Meme City.
I'd just say it's a yes from me.
Oh,
Very good.
Such a good name for a band. I wish I had that name. I used
Yeah,
to
it's
just say
great
yes
name.
randomly all the time. I fucking love it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Anyway, Goat by Polyphia.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not a
No.
big fan of Polyphia. I think they're
Fuck off.
kind of douchey.
No. Yes.
This album's really good, but they kind of present themselves as douchebags.
Separate
But,
the art from the artist.
It's funny you
Yeah.
say that because one of Claire's things she said is, "This is the most pretentious thing I've ever heard."
It is. It really is.
yeah.
I think it's so groovy though. It's not like the thing with like instrumental music is it's often like, especially with like animals as leaders, if like somebody who's not into that kind of thing listens to it, they're just like, what the fuck is happening? Like, what is going on? But I feel like this song, like, it's groovy enough, it's tasteful, like it has like an actual, it's got like a progression, you know?
Groovy, mate. This song reminded me of the fight against Gygas in Earthbound. It's if Nintendo remake Mother 2 or Earthbound, they need to use this song in that fight because it reminded me of like a horror soundtrack or something really scary.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
The
there are
beginning
some
kind of is a little bit like
there are some sort of dramatic sounds, but I'd say the main like thrust of the song comes from you got the like really pounding sort of bass mixed with the really twangly high pitched guitar bits.
Well, to
I thought
me,
it-
it all
I
sounded
thought
a
they
bit like
fused quite well.
bit. I don't know. Anyway,
I don't know. I got
I think-
grooviness from it.
Ben, what you saying?
I was actually going to echo what Zach was saying. I think song was super wanky. It was really, really wanky. I didn't like it at all.
Yeah.
Like it's the thing is, I like that kind of music because well, spoilers. Like, there's a certain album that we're reviewing next that I really liked, and it does the instrumentation tastefully when it's quote unquote wanky. And the same thing with like, I mean, you could say the same for like even like when it's sort of lo-fi, like really, really fiddly guitar work, like a lot of the stuff that Josh does. That's like really, very instrumentally heavy, but it's really tastefully done. I felt like whilst listening to this song, I was just like, very good, boys. You know how to play your instruments. Very well done. Okay. All right. I get it. No, I get it. Okay, I get it. And then it just wouldn't stop for like 3 minutes.
Oh god, you're gonna hate my single.
Oh, I think it's because it had no singing that I put it alongside like a soundtrack. It like gave me like these vibes of Gygas. It gave me vibes of like Nightmare on Elm Street, where Freddy is chasing through like the steam room bit.
I guess so.
It just gave me vibes of horror, and like intense chase horror, not like spooky atmospheric horror, just like that kind of horror.
I think
That's really funny. I remember the best part of listening to the song though. There was like a top comment on YouTube, which was really funny. Like it said, like the vocalist reminds me of my dad,
Fuck.
which is just amazing. Like,
Reminds me of Frank
Kind of like,
Ocean's.
kind of like Earthbound.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Dude, that still makes me laugh how they had in Smash on the one of the events. They had an event where you have to fight. There's like one of the stickers is Ness's father, and the only time you ever hear from him is on the phone in that game. You'd call him to save, and the thing that you fight is Invisible Snake. So it's Ness's father, it's just Invisible Snake.
Amazing.
Anyway, I really like the song. I think it's really groovy and quite badass.
I did not get
I
groove.
also really like this song. I felt like it is very pretentious, but you also have to admit that they are very talented. So it's like they're
I mean, that
they're,
goes without
they're
saying.
pretentious more than pretentious.
That goes without saying. If
'cause-
I were to say these guys were shit at their instruments, like,
No,
no one would say that.
Do you not think there's like musical merit as well to the composition? I feel like they did some interesting things. Like the second half of the song almost sounded like an electronic song to me because they had really fast, kind of choppy drums, and like an emphasis on the bass. And I don't know. I feel like the second half was quite distinct from the first. They did quite an interesting thing there.
Bro, this is coming from a guy that I like good riffs and catchy choruses. That's like what I enjoy. So even though like obviously they're amazing instrument people, and I can definitely I'm pretty sure like all those beats per minute added up to a glorious 80 or something. Got their protractors out while they were trying to figure out all the maths behind it, but
They're very, very complex.
I don't know. I'm like not. I'm trying to like say this without like insulting myself because that's like part of my therapy, but I'm like not smart enough to figure this shit out. I just don't care.
That's
So,
fair.
yeah.
That's
There's a
fair
lot of
enough.
shit going on.
Nah.
I, on the
This
other
is
hand, am smart enough, and it's still shit. No, I'm joking. No, it's no. This isn't. I wouldn't say this is even a bad song at all. Like it's like the instrumentation is really really good. Like the way they do it is well done. They are like really good musicians. And
Instrument people.
it's just it's true people. Yeah, it's just
They prefer to be called instrument people. Thank you.
Yes. Oh, we've surpassed musician. We are instrument people. Would you mind?
that is the kind of vibe I really get from them, though. Like Zach hits it nail on the head. Like for me, it just feels like the kind of people that, like, after they'd finish a song, they look at the audience like, "Us, yeah, we did that, by the way."
Let me tell you about a man called Michelangelo Batio. I could show you. Let's plumb the depths of guitar wank. I'll show.
No,
I could show you some real pretentious shit.
Where
Please
people would just
do.
literally,
I
after they
clearly
finish
like
the
it.
song.
Oh god! One day I'll do a Michelangelo Batio song on here, and it will just be everyone will hate it.
Oh, where people just smelling their own farts after they finish their song. Like they're just like, yeah, I love myself.
The best way I can explain him is he has a four-necked guitar,
Four-necked guitar, yeah.
but he only has two hands, so he might as well just have a two-necked one. But he doesn't. He has a four-necked one.
Fucking Machamp playing guitar.
But he'll play it like this and like this. Yeah,
I mean,
that's-
fair
that's-
enough. If
that
you
is
can
quite
do it,
cool.
why not?
it is wank as fuck. That's why.
Ugh.
Oh dear.
Ugh.
Any final points? I feel like Greg and Kyle need to come at us with some positivity before we close out.
No, it's wank, but I like wank.
Yeah,
So,
sort of shit me
yeah.
I
in.
like wanking too, but come on.
I feel like this is
Well.
this is like the commercial version of like Animals as Leaders. Really, like this is the more accessible version of something like that.
Let's
I
do
would
that.
say.
Do you think it would be
Okay.
better if they had a singer? Do you think that would
No.
improve it substantially?
No, I think
No.
it would make it worse.
Yeah, it's too. I mean,
Okay.
yeah.
There's too much going on.
When I say it reminded me of horror, that's not a bad thing as well, because
Mm.
it could have just done nothing for me, and I could have just sat there listening to it and gone, meh. But it took me to like places in my mind, so that, you know,
It was
that in itself for an instrumental piece is quite an accomplishment.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Fair play.
Cool.
Yeah, agree to
Nice.
disagree.
Music is art, and art is subjective, and all
Indeed.
that shit.
So, we are talking about Protest the Hero. Happy, clappy, proggy Canadian boys. Yeah, this is a prog metal album from one of the best. Well, I first heard them described as mathcore. I don't know if that's a real album, real genre, rather. But yeah, I would probably say it's prog metal. This is their third album, I believe. And it's real cool. What do you guys think?
Which one of us, Greg?
Ben!
Well, Greg,
Hello.
the thing is, this is a really, really fucking good album.
Let's go! Yes!
It's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I love this. I was listening to it like, truth be told, I actually was listening to it the hour before we just started this podcast, so it's very fresh in my memory.
It's alright. Frank Ocean for me was an hour ago, so. Or before.
Yeah, I saw
All is
Kyle on
well.
Spotify listening to Frank Ocean just before we started as well.
Yeah, I finished last.
So I made sure that at the time I made myself some dinner first and foremost. I sat down with my phone. I went on to Genius, which is the platform I always use to look at the lyrics and stuff because it has like little like, tidbits of information and stuff.
I need to do
And
that.
I fucking just like blasted through
Wait,
the
what's
album
Genius?
and obviously
Sorry to cut you.
It's
Is
like
that-
a lyric
Genius is
website where the artists can put like little bits of information about the song, and also people can add like on specific parts like of the lyrics. What
Is
it
that how
means.
you know everything about music?
Yeah.
I need to do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, me too.
Genius is super useful because you just like type in a
That sounds
song.
really cool.
It'll be like lyrics Genius, the website, and then it's all there. It's amazing. So I went on there. It had the whole album there. Listens to the whole album with the lyrics. It's fucking awesome. I actually put some notes. So the first bit before I move on to someone else is the first thing that really caught me was really loved the vocals. The singer is just unbelievably like there like the whole time. Obviously like his vocals are like super high pitched, I guess, and yeah, really complimented it.
Boy, Rody.
Amazing start to the album, and interestingly, to follow on what we were saying about the single, what was it, Goat by
Olivia, yeah.
Polyphia. I said one of my notes literally for this album was guitars really fiddly, but not in the wanky way.
Yeah. It's weird, isn't it? Because they both use really complex timings and like.
But it was different though. It felt like this.
Definitely different.
It felt like they gave the instruments time to breathe in this, and I think that the spacing and the times when they're not constantly doing that is like that breathing room gives it like I don't know, makes it feel fresher. Or if it's just a constant barrage of noise and like look what I can do with my instrument, then yeah, that's what makes it feel really wanky for me. And these guys nailed it, like hands down. They nailed that so well. So yeah, before we go into like tracks and stuff, move on to the next person, whoever wants to take over.
Well, I'll take over if you want. Like,
yeah.
Polyphia, with that Polyphia thing as well. I listened to that right after like Frank Ocean, so I was like, all right, finally Kyle's song. Just listen to it. Went, And that was that. Okay. What? So there's quite the contrast. Anyway,
No.
I don't know. Kyle, you frozen?
Have
I
I?
can see him.
Oh
I can see
shit!
him.
I can see him.
You froze.
Have I?
No.
No, I mean Carl's only frozen for you.
Oh, 1 sec.
Oh boy.
Oh, I've frozen at an awkward time.
Go on.
There we go. It's all good now.
All
Right.
good?
Yeah. Anyway, Kyle, do
Go
you
on,
want to
Zach.
take the lead? Kyle.
Go on, Carl.
Go on, Kyle.
Yeah, so I was actually the one who showed Greg this album in the first place. Like, I got really into Protest with their previous album to this one, Fortress, which is my favorite of theirs and is a 10 out of 10 album to me.
Also amazing.
Yeah. Lyrically, they're absolutely amazing. I'm going to show you a little bit of show and tell for the people watching on YouTube.
Ben don't give a
Ben's
shit, mate.
He's like,
He's
No,
like, what? Show and tell? That's for babies.
me and Greg still have this, which is the limited edition back as only version of Volition, which is the album that came after this. Because after Scurrilous, they decided, fuck record labels, we're doing it by ourselves.
Don't
And
blame
they
them.
they fully kickstarted this album, and as part of that, somewhere in this massive names, I can't fucking find it, and the camera won't focus anyway. It's me
Yeah.
and Greg's names.
Yeah, boy.
Oh, let's see.
I think I saw you.
And yeah,
You're watching this, Rhodey. We love you.
I'm also friends with Rhodey on Facebook, so.
God damn.
But yeah, really big fan of this band. Like, kind of seen them grow from quite near the start. I can't remember how I even got into them, to be honest. I think I heard Blood Meat on a Blood Meat was DLC on Guitar Hero 3. That's how I found out about them.
Oh,
And
nice.
Can you
that
show me
song-
Blindfolds Aside first, which would probably maybe be my favorite of all their songs, but
yeah,
not my
same.
favorite album.
Such a hectic song. But
fucking
yeah,
insanely good song.
like musically, they're all absolutely mental. Like, I'd say Arif, their bassist, is one of the best bassists I've ever heard. Like, and especially
Whoa.
He's gone now.
All right.
Did you
Yeah,
know he's been replaced? Yeah.
other than Zach.
Yeah, of course.
Goes without saying.
Yeah, so Fortress and all the first three albums, so Keziah, Fortress, and this one, Scurrilous, Arif wrote most of the music by himself, and he's an insane bassist as well, and he wrote like most. I think this was the first album where Rhodey wrote the lyrics, but Fortress and Keziah are both big concept albums about femininity and really important topics. Yeah, I fucking love this album. I think it's, well, actually, we're doing ratings later, aren't we? But yeah,
Yeah.
there's only like there's really nothing I can fault about this album. I think there's like a song on here that I don't care for, but the rest of it's absolutely amazing. But
Which
yeah,
one?
anyway, I won't bang on about it. I don't like termites.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was about to say, not many people do, Kyle. But then I remembered that's one of the songs.
Most people fucking love having all their reviews, you know.
My hatred for insects makes me not like this album.
Right. Our one anteater listener's like, come on, man.
Fucking love termites.
I'm unsubscribing. Anyway,
It's cool though. All of our 17th century loom users are still in because we all like tapestry. So
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, and all
The-
of our weird alternative girls with forked tongues like us still because of Tongue Splitter.
yeah.
Anyway,
I was worried for a second there that they would leave. Anyway,
All of them.
all of
somebody else talk about
And
this
so-
album. I think it's just you now.
Yeah.
Zach.
them.
Go on,
Okay.
Zach.
Go on, me. All right.
On me. On you.
Let's start by
To
saying,
me.
Ben,
Ben, what are you doing?
what the fuck, man?
What?
You're like wanking off your microphone.
Was I?
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
what, doing this? Sorry,
Yeah.
I was itching my ear.
You were just like,
Sorry. Oh, was that the sound it was making?
literally just like.
I just had a really itchy
Uh.
ear that I needed to scratch.
Anyway, I'll start off by saying, comedy is subjective.
It is.
Like the first song, like, I described as anxiety metal. The way that fucking guitar solo came in and stopped, and it was literally like. I was just saying, what the hell is this? So, yeah, I was a bit like, oh, I don't know if my heart can take this, man. This is pretty deep. But, hey, having said that, first impressions, the singer has got a fucking amazing voice, hasn't he? Like, that's my first note. And then, like, as the album went on, I think song number 3, Tandem. Is that song number 3? I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know.
Like.
Yeah. That's song number 3.
I don't know. Tandem, for me personally, turned the entire album around, and I ended up really liking it.
Hey.
Frank.
Everybody's trolling me this episode.
Those first 2 songs, I was like, oh no, here we go. Fuck. But though that first song is the only song that had like the. If it did have it, however, it's complemented with vocals, which is fine for me if there's a vocalist talking over that kind of thing. And every other song was sick. I like Tandem, Tapestry, Dunsel. They were all awesome, and like I even got like Judas Priest vibes and like Iron Maiden in the Reign. Yeah, the Reign of Unending Terror is started off pretty damn Iron Maiden, Judas Priesty with like the tapping on the guitar and all that shizzle. My only other like complaint with the album is the last 2 songs ended and started quite similarly. So it kind of at first I thought it was kind of like a interlude, but it was 2 separate songs. So like obviously I'm nitpicking at that point. I don't think that those 2 songs should be next to each other in the album. But other than that, no, I really liked this. I thought I wasn't, but yeah, I wasn't bored at all. I came out of it being like, this is sick. And I don't know, man, maybe like R&B and hip hop, maybe you guys aren't hitting the mark for me there, but maybe you guys are turning me into a prog fan slowly. If any genre
so much
that I didn't like,
dude, this is good. Just remember Zach saying this, because when I recommend my album, it's gonna be fucking funny, dude.
Well, either way, like, I don't know, it's bizarre. I was legit like, I was making dinner and I really liked it, and I didn't even go into this album particularly open-minded. So, yeah. It's good shit. Well done.
Oh yeah. Nice.
Should we go into some bit more detail with this bad boy?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Hit us up.
I've got loads to say about this album.
Do it.
Yeah, I feel like one of the really big strengths of Protest is, while they're all amazing musicians and they all are, like, the thing is, like, you realise it as you listen a bit more, but they have some really fucking weird riffs where, like for example, Hair Trigger, it's a very vocally oriented song, and it's got a lot of like really nice hooks and stuff, but there are parts like in the verse, like I think the rhythm guitar is literally just going like it's just this weird fucking tappy thing for the whole thing, and like it's really spasmodic, but it works because it's not
Good
like
word.
the front
spasmodic.
part.
What does that mean? For all those spazzes out there.
Spazzy, basically, yeah, that's what it means.
Yeah, irregular and sort of
Damn.
all over the place. Yeah.
But
There were
yeah,
some great riffs here, though, weren't there?
Yeah, the riffs are great, but also like the reason why I think it's easily more accessible is the lyrics are super well written and like about like kind of important things. Like I think C'est la Vie was the first song I heard off this album because it's got a music video as well. And I still think, like, lyrically, C'est la Vie has, like, for me, top 5 best lyrics of any song I've ever heard. Just like,
they're so memorable.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the song where I wrote, he's got an amazing voice. I didn't really clock on any of the lyrics he was singing, but...
Oh, they're so clever.
I mean,
Jeremy, the whole song's about suicide, and he just does all these kind of, they're almost like puns, but he just does all these kind of surprising ways of phrasing different kind of methods of suicide, I guess, and kind of the impact they have and the reasons why people do it, and it's all very succinct and well just packed into little sections. Listen back to the lyrics on that song; they're really incredible.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
I mean, it's like one of the first lines is
Our
stepped
dudes are
up a
genius.
building to find some concrete evidence he'd ever make an impact. Fiction splattered into fact. And then after that, it stepped off a bridge to make a splash. To make a splash, he'd have to flounder like a fish out of water. Another lamb that chose the slaughter. And it's basically like, there's that bit where it's like, the trains were 15 minutes late. And it's like basically like whilst he's also singing about like what a cruel fate to what a shitty thing to have to be the author of your own fate. But the thing that's more important and more dramatic is the trains were 15 minutes late, which is like something we've all been through. I mean, Ben was late to come in and helping me get my shit in the van because somebody jumped in front of a train. And to us, it's like we can just easily
It's
say,
like a mild convenience.
yeah, to us it's like, oh,
Yeah.
that's kind of annoying that guy chose to do that. But at the end of the day, like that dude was like going through such shit, he fucking threw himself in front of a train. But you don't even think
Yeah.
about it. Like, it's just stuff like that. It's quite a very deep meaning.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
I like how they address like obviously the album's called Scurrilous, which I don't know if you guys know the meaning of the word, but it's like kind of scurrilous is a bit like scandalous. It's like rumors and sort of salacious subjects. So that's why it's like suicide and cancer and sex tapes and stuff. But they do it in a way where it's not depressing and it's not like emotionally heavy. Like I really like the song "Sex Tapes." I think it's the last song on the album, and it's like it's kind of a heavy song because it's about like young people make stupid fucking mistakes, and in the internet age they stay with you forever, and there's all these people that are going to exploit you for your youth and your desire for fame or whatever. But the lyrics are kind of really like fun. It's like what's the really chanty bit at the end of the song where he's like, be careful what you're looking at because it might be looking back, and they just repeat that a bunch of times.
Yeah, I remember that bit because it sounded like a bit from fucking
Very like Disney, isn't it?
Nightmare Before Christmas.
yeah, I was about to say
Like,
that's
it's really
very Nightmare
Disney
Before
almost.
Christmas.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
quite a serious topic, but they do it in a way where it's like accessible and you don't have to think about it too hard if you don't want to, but if you do want to, then it's there.
Yeah.
I also think like the second song, Hair Trigger, it's a song about smoking, but it's like written in such a cool way, and it's like such just like so many metaphors and stuff that you'd never know unless you actually proper looked into the lyrics. And it's also got that
I really
amazing
like the back and forth.
with the female vocals.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
that's
cool.
what I was literally about to say. Yeah.
Yeah, they have her on most of their albums.
Oh, is she the same woman who does Kazaya?
Yeah, she's on Kazaya, and she's also on Volition. She does Drumhead Trial at the end of Drumhead Trial,
Oh,
and that's
I
one
didn't
of
know
my
it was the same
favorite
one.
songs of theirs because her voice is beautiful.
Mm.
Yeah, they've got
Yeah,
that.
she's really
Yeah.
What about the frozen, dripping holiday
holiday.
fruit that's cold, cold, cold? Yeah,
That bit's so good.
going cold turkey.
Yeah. That sweet little redhead's got her hooks in my back.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah. Anyway, I'll stop talking now. Somebody else take over.
No, if you got shit to say, say it. And if someone else has shit to say, then say it.
If we're on the topic of specific songs they really liked, I really liked Moonlight. That was one of my favorites because it has an amazing ending where it's like super chunky, like just before like the finishing stanza, and then it's rounded off with a really really nice finisher that's almost like really like an uplifter in a way, like because like before it's just like don't like really like just chunks its way through, and then it kind of bursts like right at the end into like a really really nice finishing. I really really enjoyed that. And then literally the song after Tapestry had like one of my favorite lyrics like ever in this album, which was fucking awesome. Which was sometimes the things that you're ashamed of make you who you're supposed to be. Which I really thought that was really profound.
That's one of the things that I was going to mention was really oddly, me and my dad, like when we were in the van yesterday, me, Ben, and my dad had a conversation about exactly that. Like we were basically talking about how my dad, like he has a bunch of regrets about like how much of an angry person he used to be back in the day, and how much he used to be a bit of a shit to me and my sister and stuff, and how he's done a lot of growing for it, and how basically if you don't have regrets, how have you really learned from your mistakes in the past and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally exactly what Tapestry is talking about. I mean, it's like, yeah, it's got that line. It's also got everybody's getting older, but no one's growing up and stuff like that. It's just like so many people aren't learning anything or improving.
There are so many people like that. No, that's a good point. If you have no regrets, you're probably a cunt.
Yeah.
Or you just haven't learned the lessons that you're supposed to learn.
Or it's coming your way eventually.
Yeah.
But you're a cunt
I
right
had
now.
that epiphany like maybe I had that epiphany maybe a couple of weeks ago, where like I literally was
you
just,
weren't
because
a
I used to
cunt
think
up
like,
Nah, come on, Ben.
no. Like I kind of was just like oh, you know, I won't regret anything because, you know, that only holds you back and sort of stuff. But like, at the end of the day, I was like, no, regret is a good thing because it teaches you what not to do and like what to do in the future, and that's a really important lesson to learn.
Yeah, it holds you back from the edge that you don't want to step over, because that's literally what regret is for. You regret the things that nearly brought you to the edge. Yeah. No, that song has an amazing message.
Yeah,
that's exactly. They managed to pack such intelligent, like complex ideas into a song without it getting in the way. That's what I really like about his lyricism.
Yeah. I didn't like get any of these because, well, mostly because it was first time listening. I definitely need. I'm going to try out this Genius thing because I probably would have clocked on a lot of these had I used it.
I mean, I'm not sure.
No, it's just a website you can use. Like if you just type in blah 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 lyrics on Google, Genius will probably be the first one that comes up.
Okay.
It's like the most popular lyric platform out there.
In fact, me and Carl have probably listened to this album like hundreds of times as well, so that's why we know.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, it's definitely like you guys have loved Protest to Hero. Like as long as I can remember, you guys have been banging on about this band.
They're so fucking good.
I mean, was it like 2000?
It was Brighton Concord 2. Rhodey, if you're watching, tell us. I don't know. I can't remember. And then we were supposed to see him last fucking year or the year before, and then Rhodey messed his voice up. What was that, 2018?
We were going to see the fucking anniversary of Fortress, which was my favorite
album.
It's going to be so good. Album. And then they got cancelled, and they're like, sorry, boys, we're just not going to do the whole album anymore. I'm just like, fucking hell me.
Damn.
Yeah, we saw him ages ago. Yeah, it must have been 2015 or 16 or something.
2015, it was when Matt was still at uni because we stayed at his, and we saw them with Safety Fire.
Safety Fire, yeah, also great.
Tesseract. They were supporting Tesseract, weren't they?
Do you know they were originally going to be called Happy Go Lucky?
Really?
They were called Happy Go Lucky, and then they changed it. Yeah. Which I feel like they really did the right move there.
Oh, there's some funny names out there. Motley Crue were going to be called Christmas. Like, yeah.
That does not suit them at all.
No.
Fuck's sake.
Was it like Christmas but with an X instead of the X?
Yeah.
Or something?
It would have been. Though, yeah, that name wouldn't have got them
Nick
very
Mars
far.
joined the band and he was like, "What the fuck are you talking about? That's so stupid."
Yeah.
One of the things about Protest as well that's really cute is until Arif, the bassist, left, they're all like best friends from like school. Like they've all known each other for years and years and years before they even. I think they all started playing instruments together. They were all just so committed and had such a good time playing together. They all got fucking sick, and like they like Protest.
Humble
Hero,
beginnings.
They were playing together when they were like fucking like 14 or something. And their first album came out when they were all like 18, 19 or something.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's really cool.
You know, something I discovered from reading their Wikipedia page just now, they have toured with like every fucking metal band under the sun. It was ridiculous. If you read their Wikipedia page, they've been on so many tours with so many people. They've done like, I can't even remember now, but it was like everything. It was like In Flames, random shit like Alexis on Fire, They can play with Under Oath. They've played with like there was a whole massive list of them on Wikipedia. Like, they've done a lot. The guy
Wow.
for recording, I think it was Volition. I think it was the bassist or the drummer, because I think they got a new drummer as well. One of the people from Lamb of God actually recorded, I think, Volition.
Yeah, Chris
them.
Adler played drums on Volition.
Yeah,
Really rad.
it's funny they're not like that well known, but they know all these other bands. It's really weird.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, oh my God.
Hmm.
Yeah, there's so many bands they've toured with. Jesus.
Yeah, it's bad,
They've
right?
been at it for a long time.
If you have any final points, should we go to ratings and final points?
Yeah, for me, yeah, this is up there to be honest. See, normally I don't really like giving 10 out of 10s unless I get like a really big vibe about albums. But to be honest, like yeah, this album,
Arches.
in terms
You're
of
the only
yeah,
one
but-
who's given a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, but they gave me like that feeling, you know.
That,
It's that
I think-
mwah that we talked about
oh yeah,
before.
that
this
piece
album-
de la resistance.
This album doesn't make me feel the same way as I did about it back in the day, but I think that's because I've listened to it to fucking death, dude. Like I've listened to this album hundreds of times, so I think I have to give it a 10 out of 10 just because of how important it was to my life growing up, and how like I think a big part of me and Greg's friendship back then was how much we connected over this album and a bunch of music, like, to be honest.
I think it might have even been one of the major inspirations for Zero.
Yeah, which was our previous band.
Our other band.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, it probably was because Josh loves these guys as well. I think.
Yeah.
Pretty sure he
Yeah,
does.
really likes them.
Yeah.
So yeah, yes, 10 out of 10, dude.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
if
it.
you've listened to
And
this album like
Fortress.
hundreds of times, then
Yeah, absolutely.
and you're not sick of it, then fuck, good album, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, there's like I never listen to Termites. It's just kind of meh. It's just a bit of a throwaway
What?
song for me. And
2 out of 10.
Yeah.
But it's the same as Apex was for me, though. There was that one song off of Apex. I didn't like 10,000 Against One, but I still gave it 10 out of 10. Because at the end of the day, like, if the whole album's amazing and there's like one weaker moment on it, then I'm not gonna shit on it that much. But yeah, that's me. What do you reckon, Ben?
So this is obviously like mine, well, Anzac's first time listening to it. Yeah, for me, like I only listened to it once through, so I'm gonna actually give it I'm definitely not only gonna give this another listen, but also their other albums, because if it's anything like this or better, then I'm probably gonna be a fan straight away. hands
Oh,
down.
just
Scratching your mic.
Listen to all of it. Listen to every album.
Sorry, I had to put it fell out of my ear, so I had to
It's
put it back in.
Their most recent
Um,
album is amazing.
I
This
still
year,
haven't
you
even
should listen.
listened
Oh yeah,
Have you not? Oh, it's so good.
I'll give
to it.
I'll give it.
It's called.
Well, Kyle, we can give it a listen together.
It's called
then, in
something
that
super
case.
weird.
Friendship. It's cool.
Palimpsest.
Keep
Keep going about me.
It's called Palimpsest, I think.
Palimpsest or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Limpsett.
Anyway, carry on.
Yeah, this album had everything that you could possibly want in an album. Lyrically, the actual substance is very heavy, which is what I like. I really enjoy sort of a lot of the darker sides of music, while still being clever metaphorically and being really really just out there. The delivery was incredible. His voice was amazing, and I hope his voice isn't still messed up, because you said that he messed it up the other.
It's slightly different now, but it's still amazing.
Yeah. He
Okay,
had to
good.
stop
Yeah.
doing screamed vocals, which he stopped doing on the newer albums anyway. But I think he can't sing the older songs properly anymore, which is a
It's
shame.
because he taught himself, right, and he kind of didn't teach himself the proper technique.
That's
So he
really
damaged his vocal cords a bit.
Yeah,
Oh, that's a
possibly.
shame.
It is a shame.
It's like Corey
But
Taylor.
but yeah,
Yeah.
he did the same thing.
I think so.
Yeah.
And
so many
the guy
musicians have,
from
which is why-
Avenged Sevenfold, didn't he do it as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
M Shadows also blew his vocal cords.
Did it? Oh, fuck.
Yeah, which is why I'm going to try and find a vocalist in Brighton. Anyway, that's
Ooh, yeah, definitely.
that's a side thing. Yeah, so apart from the vocals, the actual instrumentation, like I said before, like wasn't wanky in the way that it was like, you know, super complex, but it still really complemented everything so well. And yeah, I'm gonna give this a 9 out of 10. I really, really enjoyed this album, and I'm definitely gonna like put the whole thing on my liked songs to give it a listen for a couple of days.
Hell yeah.
It was awesome.
I'm sure
Nice.
you'll hear it around the house living with Kyle. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we'll probably just play it throughout the house.
it's kind of like what happened with Claire and folk metal with me. You're just around it constantly that you end up loving it.
Yeah.
It was just me and Carl being like walking around the house like.
Oh, I love that
like
bit.
clangers.
I love the bit where it goes. Oh, so good. Yeah. Anyway,
Nice.
Go on,
my thoughts. Like, obviously, I'm not the biggest prog fan. I got the attention span at a gnat. If my songs are more than 5 minutes long, apart from like some like gems, then I will just get a bit bored. But like I said, by Tandem, like Tandem really drew me in. I couldn't really tell you why. It was probably his singing is really good. I got a couple of notes here like termite. No, yeah, termite.
Termites, yeah.
Termites.
Yeah.
The one you didn't like. One of the I just wrote there's a really sick riff in it. I can't actually remember what riff it is. And at the end of the last two songs, at the end of like one of the song Dunstall, I think it was, had a fucking crunchy riff that like really resonated with me. It was very like, it reminded me of the riff that we wrote for Grade A Bullshit in the breakdown bit. It was very like dun 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 dun, and yeah, it was just sick. Yeah, I'm like not a big prog fan, but like these guys really surprised me, and I've put about 2/3 of the album on my bangers. So like I was not expecting that. Like I said, I went into this album not expecting to like it, and I came out liking it. So kind of goes to show like they are not wanky.
Can't ask for better than that.
Yeah, they're not wanky like Polyphia, or that one song by Polyphia. They're like the
wanky.
right. No, in my opinion, they're like the right level of pretentious. Where oh, see ya.
Oh, he gone.
Where he's mad at that. He didn't agree with that. Yeah, they're just like that line of, we know how to write awesome songs and show off our talent at the same time. Which
and they're like humble
really
about
got.
it.
Yeah.
I am going to do a whole Polyphia album at some point on this podcast.
I mean, do whatever you want, man. Like, do whatever you want. That's like the beauty of this podcast. I said I wanted this podcast to be like a book club where you bring your books and we all read, and then we all tell each other what we thought. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I give it like a 7 out of 10. To be honest, because yeah, it's probably the best prog song album I've ever heard.
Yeah, nice.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, apart from Roundabout.
I mean, you can't be Roundabout.
I'd have Roundabout and repeat 10 times, and that'd be the album. Be awesome.
Yeah. I'm sure Protest would agree.
Like, you should definitely end this episode of a podcast with just like a little edit where we're all just like
amazing. Maybe that's. I still need to make an outro for this podcast because I originally had the Meat and Metal outro, but obviously it's not Meat and Metal anymore. So yeah.
Maybe we can make one.
We'll get copyright strike though, so we need to get Ben to do another.
Another a cappella.
Yeah, we'll make Roundabout on our own.
Maybe it should be one of our songs.
Was that? Yeah, but the song that you made the a cappella, Ben. Have we actually made that song yet?
No, that's Manticore. We still need to make that.
Okay.
We could totally use. We could just make a little 3-second riff to do the outro if we wanted. Yeah. Anyway, that's for future.
Great.
Yeah. obviously, I fucking love this album. I've listened to it an infinite amount of times. I love every single song. My favorite's probably C'est la vie, Hair Trigger, and I really like Sex Tapes. I actually really like Duncel as well. Duncel's a sick song. And as I've said many a time, I don't believe there is such a thing as a 10 because there's always going to be a better album in the future. But I'm going to have to give this a 9.9 because it's about as fucking good as it's ever going to get.
Boo!
Boo!
the whole way.
Give it a 10.
No,
It was the whole way.
if there's a better album in the future where I'm going to give it a 10.1, no, fuck off.
No, that would be a 10 as well.
More than 110.
No, everything must be relative.
For fuck's sake.
Damn
9.9.
Well, I give your
Alright,
face a 9.9.
That's pretty
Ooh,
good.
killer.
That's all right.
Yeah,
take it.
yeah, no, I'm all right. It's a good looking face. Anyway.
Thanks.
Yeah, so for our comments this week, it's still our boy TB leaving the reviews, but we want to give a shout out to our first official fan who's leaving comments for us. Andrew Branch,
Regular viewer, our boy
Yeah.
Andrew Branch.
the lad.
Thank you for
Yeah.
the recommendation.
Yeah, he
I've
told us to listen to
enjoyed-
Deer Hunter.
Yeah, and Manchester Orchestra, both of which I've enjoyed.
Yeah, maybe we need to get him on the show, boys.
Hey,
maybe.
why not?
Maybe.
Unless it's like Sandcroft, in which case no.
I don't know what that is.
Sandcroft's one of my old viewers on Smooth, and he
Oh, yeah.
was like, anyway, he was just something else.
We'll vet Andrew Branch before we let him on the show. We'll have a detailed interview process.
He told us to listen to the Deer Hunter, and I've been told to listen to them because they are Misha Mansour from Periphery's favourite band.
Are they
Bangs on
really?
about them all the time.
Oh, well, that's even more reason to listen to him.
Yeah, I mean that whole thing he talked about, where like the whole discography is like a huge story, and each of the albums is one act of the story. Sounds really
Colours
cool.
and-
Yeah,
Yeah.
So it's like Unleash the Archers and Gloryhammer, kind of like a.
yeah.
Mm.
But it's basically like a prog rock orchestra about the life of this hunter and the people he interacts with. But he doesn't go into much detail about like what he gets up to and stuff. But yeah, I'll give him a whirl because I mean I listened to him back in the day, but I didn't really like it. But I probably listened to the wrong song. But I'm gonna try. And
Yeah,
also,
'cause I mean-
we should listen to First Temple by Closure in Moscow, which I haven't listened to, but I will do as well.
Great album, do it. Yeah, and me and Carl are both massive fans of Periphery, so like that recommendation means a lot to me. So I definitely will even more now check out Deer Hunter.
The only confusing is he's talking about Deer Hunter as in DEAR. There is also a band called Deer Hunter, DEER.
Oh, really?
Very-
I hate it when that shit happens. There's a band called Red Rum, which is an old glam band. There's also Red Rum, which is a pirate metal band. So, and the only difference is one has a space between the two
Oh, for
words.
That's so annoying.
Fuck that.
But yeah, our boy TB, he left us comments about both the singles and the album, so I'll read out the singles first.
Let's go.
Yes, Roundabout. Is that a JoJo reference? Yes, it is.
Yes,
I
it
mean-
was. It was the only reason why I picked it.
I mean, the first minute was what we all came for, that acoustic intro, the iconic bass line. After that, I'm kind of just like, yeah, you can go now. It's a pretty good prog song, but it's obviously unsufferably long. Obviously unsufferably long. It's not obviously anything.
Also, it's insufferably.
Clearly, you're not a prog fan. Like I am now with Protest, and yes.
Yeah.
Yes to the hero.
Hey,
Not
you think
bad.
that was long? Let me tell you.
On a side note, actually, there is a prog band that I've always wanted to listen to, which was Rush.
Yeah, they're good.
I've
I've
always
also
wanted to listen to
listened to
Rush.
Rush.
They're a lot more like Yes than modern prog. I would say listen to 2112.
Yeah, that's
great.
the one that I've heard a load of good. I've just heard good things about them. Anyway, Tim.
Add that to my research playlist.
Polyphia Goat. I saw the video for this one. Oh, he talked to us about this at Port Limp, which we went to.
Yeah, spoilers.
He says this has tainted this, and for that I'm sorry. It's like every kid in the day how they thought they were sick at their instrument. Now these guys do have the chops to back it up, but it comes across as a bit tryhardish.
Yeah, yes.
Instrumentals do need to be interesting, but they seem borderline wankery. Maybe I'm bitter. I could never play an instrument, and I'm taken out on these lads. I don't know, but it had a nice groove. Didn't hate it. 5 out of 10.
I know, that's 4 people that have said it out of
Yeah.
6. Claire and
Yeah, I think we all echo that sentiment. Yeah.
It's pretty wanky, yeah. But the fact that he
Cool.
literally told us specifically at Port Lim, he's like, maybe I would have liked it if I hadn't watched the music video. But literally seeing how pretentious they looked made me not like it. And to be fair, I felt the same way about it the first time I found out about it.
Yeah, after he had, because I read his comment in advance as well. After he said that, I went and watched the video, which I hadn't done before, and it genuinely, it like lowered my estimation of that song. I was
Wait,
like, come on, boys.
What's the video like? I haven't seen it.
It's like
Oh, it's really pretentious.
They're in like a
How?
church.
They're just walking around a church, but like,
they all look so up with themselves. They've all
They
got like
really-
really haircuts.
I think,
They all
you know-
think they're really cool.
That's the
Oh.
thing that made me think it was like so pretentious was probably the music video, because that's obviously how I watched the single. Yeah, like they're all like, especially the drummer, like when he's doing like a bit of like the specific drum fills and stuff, his face is literally like, yeah, I'm fucking good, and I'm like, oh, fuck off,
Yeah.
mate.
one of the
Don't be
first
yourself.
one of the first shots they do is it's the first, because there's 2 guitarists in Polyphia. The first one is like standing on top of like a church stage, and the camera like zooms into him, and he does a little funky guitar bit, and then it all flips upside down, and then the other guy's on the like reverse upside down church down here, and he's standing like that. And he does another little funky riff, and it's like heaven and hell, and ooh, opposites binary, ooh, pretentious.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. It really did.
Has the glass
Nice.
smashed for you boys now?
No, I still love him.
Oh, well, this show isn't about glass smashing. I still love Red Rum, so.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Frank Ocean, Channel Orange. Heard of him before, but never really sat down and listened beyond the big hits. I recognised a couple tracks from friends playing them at uni. Pretty chill vibes, though the interludes were pretty much nonsense and were kind of jarring. I mean, we can all agree with that one.
We all said that, yeah.
Yeah.
Brat Rock had a nice drum backing to stop it all being so airy, which was nice. Otherwise, I guess it's a bit like if Cloud Watching had a theme song. Yeah, I mean, kind of. It's a
I like
good
that.
metaphor. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can understand that. Smoke a zoot, lie in sun, watch the world go by.
Yeah.
That'd be
That
really
cloud
nice.
looks like a pyramid.
That cloud looks a pyramid tonight.
Yeah, it
Rich
looks like
had a
Forrest
cool-
Gump.
That
Cloud
cloud looks like Woody.
Rich Kids had a cool angle on how life probably isn't that great for rich kids. Yeah, it's a cool one. It's about how they're always living in their parents' shadow and they're not really raised by they're raised by like nannies and stuff. And it's not all great sort of thing.
Yeah,
White
they
lies and
shouldn't have
white
been
lines.
born rich then.
Yeah, fucking
Yeah, dickheads.
We are the Zanny gnashing, caddy smashing, bratty ass.
Nice.
Overall, not bad, but a little bit long, and you probably need the right sort of atmosphere for it. 6 out of 10. I think we all said the same, didn't we? It's a bit
Yeah,
long.
pretty
Yeah,
Skits.
yeah.
agree with everything you said there.
I mean, it's a 10 out of 10 for me, but I said the same thing. You need to be in the mood for it, like anything, really.
Yeah,
think so.
I do think 54-minute long is a bit much for it though.
Yeah.
Wait, is that
Maybe-
is it only 54 minutes?
Yeah, so it's like 16 songs long or something. It's
I thought it was like an hour and 10.
Well, the thing is, a lot of it is
It felt
skits.
long to me.
Long.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I said how long of the album is left. 6 more songs. What? Fucking hell.
Yeah.
It felt much longer than that to me.
Yeah, fair enough. I didn't listen to it in one sitting, so.
Mm.
Ooh, you're not getting the full experience. Ooh.
Protest the Hero Scurrilous.
Shit.
This album doesn't mess around, gets straight into it, and doesn't really let up throughout. Wasn't quite sure what exact style I was listening to, but I quite liked it. I guess similar to Dream Theater, but with a bit more frantic or delirious structuring. I mean,
Yeah,
it's prog.
pretty different. Yeah, but
mm,
I
but
mean,
there's
I'd
no, like,
argue Dream Theater are more
keyboards.
like Polyphia, where they're on stage just wanking.
Yeah,
I don't
I
know.
don't know.
I,
Anyway,
I haven't listened to enough Dream Theater to comment. But yeah, I'd agree that Protest are more like frantic.
Yeah.
But
Well, I mean, I've seen a lot of prog to like really like. I would put Protest up with like Opeth. Yes, I guess. As I can definitely tell the difference between we know what we're doing and we're wanking and we know what we're doing. Like,
yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
I mean, the
Dream
only
Theater
Dream
are
Theater
probably
song I know is Panic Attack.
Dream Theater do a lot of. We did this crazy time signature because we could. Like, if you listen to the song "Dance of Eternity," there's a part on that where they change the time signature like 15 times in a row, and it's fucking dumb. It's fucking dumb.
it's just unnecessary.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
14's enough, but 15.
Yeah.
Fuck.
I remember I saw an interview with the guy from Tool whose name I've forgotten.
Which one, the singer or the
The
drummer?
main guy.
The singer, Maynard James Keenan.
Yeah, Maynard James. You know the song where it's the Fibonacci sequence? Is it 46 and 2? Where
No,
it's like,
Laterals.
yeah. He was doing a retrospective on Lateralis, and he was like, yeah, we did this like crazy maths thing where it matched the timings matched the Fibonacci sequence, but now I look back at it and it's basically a dick joke of a song.
I like that he's self-aware.
It's
Yeah, he was like,
product
that
of the
was a-
time.
Yeah, he's like, that was cheap. We do better now. Like,
Oh, but they don't, because the new album's kind of shit.
It's not bad, but it's very.
it wasn't as good.
It wasn't
Fair.
as good.
There was no 10,000 days.
I thought you liked it. Or were you just running on the
I
highs?
liked it, but it was no 10,000 days or the other one.
Just Tool the album that had like
Laterals.
the goggles. I
Yeah,
remember
that's
Kyle
10,000
like
days.
showing me an album in like year 9 or something where it was like, look at this album. You open it up and you look through these things and it's all like does something.
what?
Yeah,
I
10,000
don't know about
days. The artwork for 10,000 days, the limited edition, it had like in the eyes which are on the front of it. If you look into them and then you look at like it's like a sleeve, and you take the sleeve off, you look through it, and you look at the album art, and it's got all this like hidden shit in like the album art. It's really
Oh,
cool.
that's cool.
Yeah.
Because it's the face, isn't it? The 10,000 days, like cover.
Yeah.
So you look through the eyes. Ah,
Yeah,
Along
sick.
with Guitar Hero, your monkey throwing poop, and that album, like that's so vivid. Is vivid the right word? Like it's just right there in my mind. I can just see it.
That's me summarized in 3 things.
yeah.
Hero, that shirt about monkey throwing poop at people, and 10,000
And
days.
Tool. That's just your
God, I sound like
teenage
a
hoodie.
dickhead.
Nah, man, it's like a triangle of you got the Tool, the pretentious Tool, the poop jokes, and the Guitar Hero. It all adds up to make a well-rounded individual.
That's a trifecta.
Yeah, the trifecta. But
Anyway, how
Tim
do we go?
said, yeah, Scurrilous. Plenty of energy and different elements to listen to, whether it's changing guitar parts throughout or the drum pans. Enjoyed the album. Only real criticism would be trying to distinguish songs from one another due to the number of switch-ups. 8 out of 10. I mean, yeah, I guess there's a lot going on, so it's kind of becomes a bit of a blur at points.
Yeah.
Yeah, a
I
bit like
feel
what
like-
Zach said with the last two blending into one.
I mean, yeah, looking back, I couldn't. If you played a song, I couldn't tell you what the song was. It'd take a couple of listens, but
Yeah.
obviously I can agree with that. As someone who'd never listened to it before, it does all kind of blend into one, but that one is good.
Yeah. I mean, it's
Yeah.
pretty high praise for an album, really. It seems to be across the board. People liked it, which is quite rare.
Yeah, I mean, like one of our main criticisms for albums is that it gets stale towards the end, and it didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, sick. Thanks as always for your comment, Timbo. You are the
you.
MVP.
Yeah.
All hail, you're Tim of the week again. Andrew Branch is runner-up
He's Andrew of the week.
You would be Tim of the week if you left a review, but keep commenting either way. It's really nice, and we will listen to both the Deer Hunter and what was the other one?
Manchester Orchestra.
Manchester Orchestra. Yeah.
Indeed, we appreciate the engagement. Thank you.
Yes, boss.
Yeah.
So yeah, should we do next week's albums?
Yeah. Do you want to do singles first?
Go
Single
for it.
whatever
Pringles?
way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go on, Ben.
Cool. My single that I want to recommend is a band that I found really recently, and they're awesome. And I want to just test the waters, see how you feel about them. It's a band called Skeleton Witch, all one word. And the song is called Fen of Shadows, Fen of Shadows.
Okay.
They were on the Brutal Legend soundtrack, so you have heard them, Greg.
Were they?
Are you sure you're not thinking of Angel Witch?
You're an
Does-
angel witch. You're
that was
an
on the
angel
Brutal
witch.
I'm pretty sure Skeleton Witch were on there.
Oh, maybe. Because I did play Brutal Legends, and that was a sick soundtrack. There were a lot of bands that I heard about through that soundtrack, including Angel Witch, who were really good. But I
Legends
do
is
not
good.
remember. It was. I do not remember this band though. There it goes
Fractured
on
Black
the
Sorcery was on
playlist.
Brutal Legends.
Ah.
Well, I'll be damned, yo. Yeehaw! Greg.
Oh. All right, my single for this week. I kind of got inspired by Kyle's in a way because it reminded me of this, which is why I said, Ben, earlier that you would hate it, but you might not. This is a song by a 1999 sort of experimental collaboration between quite well-known musicians. Say that again?
I think I know what it is.
Yeah, it is. So they're called Liquid Tension Experiment. It's the guitarist John Petrucci and the drummer Mike Portnoy of Dream Theater, I believe, that we were just talking about.
It's also got Jordan Rudess, the keyboard player. He was in the experiment before.
He'll save the day.
So it is another instrumental, but it is fucking sick, and you'll never guess it's only fucking 6.5 minutes long. So
I mean, that's twice Polyphia. Like,
yeah, but it's also a
6.5
fucking
minutes.
It's also a fucking classic. Don't prejudge it. It's called Acid Rain, and it's amazing.
Hell yeah!
Like
All right, hit us with the album,
Nice.
boys.
All right. Kyle, hit us because I
Well.
actually forgot what the album's called. Love it though.
It's
10 out of
just
10.
as well. I've been talking about this to the boys. It's just as well you're a new prog convert, Zach.
Oh yeah,
Because there's
that's
one
me.
band that you keep talking about and saying, "Oh, I just don't get it. Maybe one day I'll like."
Wait, can I guess?
Yeah,
Is it Opeth?
it's Opeth.
Okay. I just want to say because Claire's entire family love Opeth.
Yeah.
So she's been playing. She plays a lot of Opeth around the house. So
Yeah.
there's a good chance I might like it.
Yeah, so I've been struggling to decide on an album because, as far as I'm concerned, like Opeth were one of like my main formative years bands and ones that really like Opeth are the reason why prog metal is my favorite genre. And so they've got 3 albums in a row, which I think are all 10 out of 10, which are Blackwater Park. Well, actually, there was Deliverance Damnation afterwards, which is still great, but not 10 out of 10. Then there was Ghost Reveries, and then there was Watershed. All of them are 10 out of 10. If we're talking about like significance and popularity, I think Ghost Reveries is the number 1 there. But I'm going based on my personal opinion, and my personal favorite Opeth album is Watershed, which is the one we're going to be listening to.
Is that
So,
the one
yeah.
with the tree?
No, that's Heritage. That's afterwards.
Okay.
The Watershed is the one with a guy sitting in a chair, looking away from the camera and looking very broody.
Heritage is also a sick album. Do I want the special edition? That's what I'm
No.
looking at here.
So
We've
the
never
special,
really done special editions.
the special edition is on Spotify. The last canon song of this album is Hex Omega. So
Okay.
just listen. Hex Omega is the last song of the album.
Listen up to Hexomega.
Yeah, anything before that's just filler. You just skip the filler.
Yeah.
Everything after that. Don't listen to Derelict Herds, Bridge of Sighs, or Den Standiga Razan.
That's like,
Okay.
Fuck you. I'm gonna listen to them.
I'm
Mate,
also going to listen to them.
bro, that's like the Rockley's curry of Opeth. Fuck you.
Hell yeah.
Oh
Fuck
shit!
it.
I have
Opeth
to
has
to write that
so
down.
many albums. God damn.
They've been going since like, I think when did Orchid come out? Like a long time ago. Is
I've listened to 1995. God damn.
that when
I've
Orchid
listened
came
to a bit of Opeth, but never enough. I know our friend Josh fucking loves Opeth.
Oh yeah,
Well,
we've
yeah,
got a
one-
story to tell for next time.
Oh yeah.
I know the
One of the reasons why I suggested it is because I was listening to this album and Ghost Reveries with Josh in the car, and yeah, I remember Josh showed me Opeth. Actually, this is a story for next
Yeah,
episode.
let's save all this
Yeah,
juicy shit for next
yeah.
time.
Yeah.
That's great.
Alright,
For
Zach.
me, I was gonna recommend Crash Diet's first album, Rest in Sleaze, but they recently revealed on Instagram that they're gonna do some fancy shizzle whizzle for their 15-year anniversary of that album. So and on the off chance that it's a remaster, because it is quite a, I wouldn't say jank, but you can tell it's like their first album. They're just a bunch of mates having a laugh. If it's like, if the remaster comes out and it's like crisp as fuck but still the same album, I'll do that for future. But on the off chance, I'm going to save that, and I'm going to go for a band that released their first album in 2017, and they have completely fucking skyrocketed to my top 10 favourite bands of all time, and that is Greta Van Fleet. The album From the Fires, their first album.
Oh, let's go, dude.
Yeah.
Ever since you showed me these guys, they're fucking good.
Bro, they're so, I mean, they were like 16, 17, I think, when this album came out, and I'm like, when I was 16, I don't think I ever picked up a guitar. So fuck. It was, yeah.
Their cover
Yeah,
of
course.
"Rolling in the Deep" is so fucking good.
Rolling in the
Yeah.
Deep.
Listen to any
Yeah,
of this.
the Adele song, it's amazing.
Adele song, yeah.
They do a really good cover of it.
Nice.
What album's that on? Is that like,
It's on the Spotify singles on Spotify.
oh, it's a single. Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome.
Hell yeah.
I'm ready. It's gonna be a good one.
Kyle, lead us out.
So, you know next week's albums now. They are Watershed by Opeth and From the Fires by Greta Van Fleet. Also, the singles Fen of Shadows by Skeleton Witch and Acid Rain by Liquid Tension Experiment. Leave your thoughts in the comments, please. Tell us what you thought of either the singles or the albums or one of the other or whatever the fuck you feel like. If you want to be like our boy Andrew Branch and recommend other stuff for us to listen to, fucking do it. Just put what you want. We don't give a shit. We'll reply. We'll interact with you because we like friendship.
Yeah.
Um,
We'll also probably do like a fan suggestion couple of episodes as well, eventually.
Yeah, who knows? In the end,
Yeah.
if we get actually like an audience, we could do streams or whatever.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
that,
that'd be
yeah.
that would be cool actually. What, like on Twitch or something? That's a good
Yeah,
idea.
just if we got enough people that where they actually want to ask questions and like we could talk about music and stuff, that'd be cool. Like up to
Yeah,
a stream.
sick. I mean, maybe not whole albums, but we could do like a song or two, listen to it all together.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
hell yeah.
Have to do that.
But yeah, comment on YouTube, or if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Music, email us at chubtheband@gmail.com or leave a tweet with the hashtag chubview. And
I did check ChubView. There were 2 tweets on hashtag ChubView, both by us.
hell yeah.
Our number one
Nice.
fans.
Yeah.
Us. That's so funny.
We are our own number one fans. You've got to be. Yeah, if you want to be Tim of the Week, leave us a nice review.
Hell yeah. We'll read it out on the show.
And Zach, lead us out with the line.
Yeah.
That one thing we always say at the end.
A catchphrase.
Chub band's pretty good. If this gave you an erection, then Chub.
Right. Chub, like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.